Hello, Mysterious Person Behind the Screen, and welcome back to another Doctor Who audio commentary with me and Isaac. Today we are doing the Series 5 finale, The Pandorica Opens and The Big Bang. So this is 11th Doctor story, Matt Smith, end of Matt Smith's first series. And so without further ado...
If you'd like to sync this up with your own copy of Pandorica Opens and The Big Bang, we're watching the Steelbook version on Blu-ray. Skip over Vincent and the Doctor and the Lodger on Play All, and press play in 3, 2, 1, now. Now, this might be an unpopular opinion, but this is my favourite story from the new series.
It's a very good one. It's underrated, actually. It's very underrated. A lot of people, when people are talking about like finales, especially, not a lot of people kind of bring this up, but I think it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, because quite a few people, particularly in later Moffat years, they just talk about how disappointing his finales are, and they seem to act like he never wrote a good finale, but this is evidence of that.
Oh yeah, no, this is great. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this might hold the record for the longest pre-credit sequence in Doctor Who, because I think it runs for about 8 minutes.
I was going to say, yeah, it's really long, and it's a mission statement as well, because this, as a finale, is very much sort of combining every single episode from Series 5 together. It's probably the only finale that I can think of where literally every single episode is either referenced or has a part to play in it. It's a proper build up, and that's fantastic, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because even from a character standpoint, even though Amy's Choice doesn't have that reference to it, it doesn't have a crack in time or hints of the universe blowing up, it still has who will Amy choose, the Doctor or Rory, which then obviously comes to play at the end when Amy finally marries Rory.
Exactly, yeah. I'd argue that this is one of the only series that you literally, there was no episodes you can skip, I don't think, because everything comes to a head in this finale.
Yeah, I think the only filler episode is probably The Beast Below. And that's about it.
But even then, like, Liz 10 is still in this, isn't she, at some point? In fact, yes, of course she is. Yeah, she's in it.
She is. Yeah,
yeah.
I forget that. Yeah.
Yeah. So even then, that still
even
has a part
the
to play.
Daleks suggests that Amy has forgotten the Daleks. And
Yeah,
their alien invasions.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is like the whole hallucinogenic lipstick thing was kind of set up in the Time of Angels, so that's here as well, referencing back. So it's a proper like conclusion to all of these episodes, and not many series have that. That it's an underrated aspect of this, in that it really is a follow on and a conclusion to everything, and I really love that, and it makes it feel properly epic.
Yeah, it achieves that very well, in my opinion. It's why Series 5 is my favourite of the new series.
It is so strong. It's really, really strong. It's hard to argue with that. It's everything.
Yeah,
is
in
so
my
tightly
opinion,
plotted.
from Time of Angels to Day of the Moon, that's a perfect run of episodes, in my opinion, or near perfect, because there's not a dud in there, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. It's so strong. There's not, and especially when you hit a point in Series 5, it's just like, holy shit! Like, every episode is so strong here. And it works. And I think on the original Blu-ray release of this, there's a letter from Stephen Moffat in it, and it says like, "Oh, this box set is the proudest moment of his career and stuff." The fact that he all these episodes are together, and he's I think he's said since then he's really proud of what he did with this series, and he should be. It's easily like the strongest series of the Moffat era, in my opinion.
Now, Simon Fisher Becker, who plays Dorian, wished me a happy birthday last year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I'm friends with him on Facebook, so yeah, seems like a really nice guy. I told him I really liked you as Dorian, and he said, "Oh,
Yeah,
thank you very much."
yeah.
Yeah,
So was that a reference to Captain Jack just then? Um,
yeah, the time agent, fresh off the wrist, something
fresh
like
off
that.
the
Yeah,
wrist of a handsome time agent. Yeah,
well, it could have been another time agent.
could be. Yeah, I like that it's never really explicitly said. It's sort of like, yeah, you could absolutely, you could infer that it is Captain Jack, but it's cool. It's never really
Well, I
confirmed.
know Jack was supposed to be in. Jack was supposed to be in A Good Man Goes to War, and
Mm.
originally was going to get his head cut off and put in a jar, which would eventually turn him into the face of Bo. But
Oh.
John Barrowman was unavailable because he was doing Miracle Day, so
Oh.
that fell through. But then he kind of compensated that when in Wedding of River Song, Dorian comes back with his head in a box.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Geez, that would have been a bold thing to do actually, to cut Captain Jack's head off, but
Yeah. Now, had things gone to plan, the funny thing is about this series is that if David Tennant chose to stay on, this would have been his last story.
yeah, it would have been. Yeah, and
Yeah,
there's
because
the
he did have reservations about leaving because he thought, oh, could I just do one more series with Steven, see how it goes,
mm,
and then maybe go at the end of that.
yeah, because I remember hearing him talk about how the prospect of working with Stephen Moffat for a whole series was so sort of so tempting, but in the end he decided not to. But yeah, it would have been cool because there's a lot of stories about that sort of what if alternate universe series 5 where Tennant didn't leave and it was him in this. Is it is interesting for sure.
But yeah, Matt Smith is my favorite new series Doctor. He's just
Oh,
brilliant.
he
I can
really
remember
is.
so many people at my high school who said, I'm not watching anymore because David Tennant left.
Yeah.
I'm no longer friends with those people.
You get that every time there's a new Doctor, don't you?
Seriously.
You get that every time there's a new
You
Doctor.
can
It's
tell
it's
the type
just
of person someone is when they say, I stopped watching when David Tennant left, the
mm.
second Doctor. Right, okay.
Well, I remember people talking about how, oh, he looks like Frankenstein. He's so ugly. What? It's like, what? That's so
I
shallow.
remember people saying, he's got a stupid haircut.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that too. Yeah. To be honest, my main memory from
Oh, it
watching
was
that,
so stupid.
my main memory from watching that Confidential special where they announced him was just, who's that guy? I've never seen him before. What's happening? I don't know. I was just sort of like,
Yeah, it just
yeah,
Yeah, it was kind of an odd way to announce it because it was just kind of so casual. They
yeah,
were on about all the previous 10 Doctors, and then boom, there's Matt Smith.
yeah.
He's the Doctor.
That's right.
Because I'd argue Doctor Who was kind of his obviously he'd acted before, but I'd argue this was his big break
Oh, it
because
was.
he's been in so much since leaving, particularly The Crown. And,
Mm. Yeah, he's
there was rumor he was going to be in Star Wars Episode 9.
yeah. What happened with that? There's because that
No idea.
I remember in the run up to the release, they never confirmed that he wasn't in it or anything, and he was actually in the cast list for a long time. And right up until when I saw that film, I was like, guess Matt Smith wasn't in it then. It's just like that was
Yep.
really weird. He's in the upcoming Morbius as well, which I think he's the villain in that, which should be
He is, yeah.
yeah.
Because I know there was talk of, once again, him doing Series 8, because apparently the original plan for Series 8 was the Trenzalore arc, and then
Mm,
Moffat decided, oh, he's not staying on, and it wouldn't feel right with the 12th Doctor, so
yeah.
I'll just stuff it into one episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would have much preferred him to stay for Series 8, just so that he had a whole series to wrap up his era's arc, because yeah, like you say, as it is in Time of the Doctor. I enjoy Time of the Doctor. It's got a lot of heart to it, but at the same time, it is very much sort of,
Yeah.
it is very much sort of overstuffed and filled to the brim.
Yeah, I remember a YouTuber back in 2013 called Scarily Vids. He
Mm.
was a pretty downer person because he said stuff like his critique of this episode was, and the horseback looks cool, but why don't they just use the TARDIS? Oh, I bet you're a blast at parties.
I remember Scarillion Vid, yeah.
And
What
then,
happened to him?
and apparently the biggest plot hole in existence in Time of the Doctor is why doesn't the Doctor just leave Trenzalore?
Yeah, right. This is the thing. I
Yeah.
get really
I mean,
annoyed.
what happened to him? He just
He
disappeared.
did. He just disappeared off the face of the earth, and I think the channel's still there. There's just nothing on it.
Yeah.
I remember watching him fairly regularly.
Oh, I couldn't even find the channel.
Oh, maybe the channel's gone then. Oh God, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that does annoy me when people say, "Oh, it's a plot hole." There's so many plot holes, and often the term just gets misused so much. Like that, you know, I remember seeing loads of articles where it was like, "Oh, The Force Awakens left a massive plot hole by not explaining where Luke's lightsaber came from," and it's like, right, that's not a plot hole. That's a piece of information that we're not privy to because it isn't important. That's not a plot hole. a plot hole is something that either goes against the rules of the work of fiction that's been set up, or just doesn't make a lick of sense. You know, but it's just people misuse that term so much, and it annoys me. I will say though about the horseback.
Yeah, and one of the weirdest,
Oh yeah, sorry. Go on.
just gonna say, one of the weirdest criticisms Scarily Vids made was in, I think, The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon. He said, I don't think the Doctor's actions against the Silence are justified because the Silence were never established as a threat. Yeah,
What?
they've been here since the start, but they've not exactly hurt anyone.
Cut to
Were you even watching?
cut to the scene in the bathroom in literally the first episode they appeared.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was going to say about the
Now, I know
horseback.
yeah, go on.
Yeah,
about
no,
horseback.
the horseback, it does look really cool. The only problem is you can definitely tell that it's the stunt doubles. You can definitely tell
Oh,
when,
yeah,
when watching it in
definitely
HD.
back, yeah.
It's just a guy in a Matt Smith wig. And like... But yeah. Sorry, yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'll say the build-up in this episode is so perfect. I love it's yeah, it's set entirely at night, isn't it? And that's
Yeah.
it just adds to the atmosphere so much. And didn't they need special permission to film at Stonehenge?
I think so, yeah, because it's one of those sites.
Yeah,
that
isn't it
was-
like
yeah.
sacred ground, something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those sites that's like it's meant to be like perfectly preserved, and obviously visitors are allowed there, but you can't you can't wreck it or anything.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, I remember the hype for this episode, saying every enemy ever that the Doctor has ever
Yeah,
faced. And yeah, I was pretty excited
I
to see
remember.
this.
Yeah,
I was excited that the Cybermen. I remember they put the Cybermen in the trailers a lot, and I thought, oh, it's cool. Is this going to be a story about them? Which it did disappoint me a bit that they weren't in it more. But then I realised, obviously, on rewatch, no, it's not about them. It's the culmination of a series.
yeah, it's literally like I remember that as well when they said every enemy ever, and I was just thinking like this finale gets to have its cake and eat it too, because it gets to be this wonderful personal closure for everything that Series 5's built up and everything. And it also gets to throw in this big spectacle of a million billion creatures and monsters, and the budget means that we don't see all of them, but just the fact that they're there and we hear the noises and everything, it works really well.
I mean, I've got to love how there's a Hoix there, but
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't get some weird women dressed up in 60s space outfits and say, "Look, it's the Dravins." I mean,
Yeah,
come on, that's not too expensive.
there's a lot, like when we get to that scene, there's a lot of like obscure, like even like monsters from Torchwood as well, and Sarah Jane are in there, just in the background, and it reminds me a lot of.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a blowfish
There is a blowfish,
and
yeah.
a Uvodny.
Yep, yep. There's yeah, and it does remind me a bit of Dimensions in Time, where it just feels like they've
Oh
sort of
God.
raided a BBC cupboard anywhere and just got all the monster costumes and just chuck them on some people.
Yep. Yeah, I think Moffat said he was inspired by this finale because he said with the RTD finales, he always tried to up the scale for
Mm.
every series, and he does the ultimate thing here and ends the universe.
Yeah,
And it's quite interesting he does that because if you look at his finales after this series, they're not very large scale. It's not like, oh, the world's going to end, the universe is going to end. They're very character driven, which
mm.
I really appreciate.
Yeah, same. This finale. I think one of the reasons this works so well is it's a tale of two halves because this first part, the Pandorica opens, is a big action heavy. Every monster's here. This is the big spectacle, and then the second part is just this wonderful character piece. Really, it winds itself down, but it's just as epic, but it's more emotionally epic rather than physically epic, and I think that's really clever.
Yeah, I'd argue. Yeah, I'd argue Pandorica Opens is plot driven. Setting up more of the questions that have been raised in the finale, and then ending on such a downer.
Mm,
And then Big Bang is very character driven, but it still doesn't go against or goes completely off the rails of where this story and the rest of the series started.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a few people criticize though the alliance, saying I don't buy, the Daleks allying themselves with other enemies when they fought the Cybermen before. I mean, I can overlook that because obviously they all think the Doctor is going to destroy the universe, and the Daleks can't be the dominant life form in the universe if the universe is destroyed.
Exactly. Yeah. Like when sometimes some of those criticism, and like fair enough, that's a decent criticism. But sometimes I hear things like, oh, but if you look at the behaviour of the Draconians and their society and their state of mind in Frontier in Space, would they really be driven to something like that? And sometimes I just sort of think, if you look at everything like that, I'm not sure you're ever going to enjoy this. I don't think you'd ever enjoy
Yeah,
any episode of Doctor Who if you look at everything like. And, fair enough that it's a decent criticism, but sometimes it's just a bit tiresome.
I mean, if this was Chibnall writing this, he'd include in those list of enemies the mighty Pating.
Yes, he would.
Daleks, Cybermen, Sontaran, Slovene, Pteroleptal, Zygon, Atraxi, and worst of all, the mighty
The mighty
Pating.
Pating. And it just waddles in, going "Rah, rah," and
Yeah.
just starts eating the Pandorica or
Imagine
something.
or if that's the one to say close the Pandorica, it just goes and the Dalek's like, it said seal the Pandorica. And yeah, I just realised these are Autons, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
Forgot about that, yeah.
I always forget this is an Auton story, technically.
Yep. Heck, I think they have, out of all the enemies that appear in this, I think they have the most screen time.
Yes, yeah.
In fact, there's a really nice reference to, I think, Terror of the Autons when the Doctor in the Big Bang says to Rory, stay away from heat and radio signals. For ages, I thought that was a throwaway line, but after having seen Terror of the Autons, when they're activated by heat and radio signals, I realised, Oh, that's what he meant.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. God, it baffles me that this is 11 years old this year. Jesus, that's, that's terrifying.
What is?
The whole thing is 11 years old this year, isn't it? This series.
Oh yeah.
That is terrifying. I still remember this going out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so weird that this is all. This is all.
I was there when it happened. But
Yeah,
yeah,
back in my day.
in my own day. But yeah, I can remember. Problem was, unlike the RTD era, there was no one at school I could share my enthusiasm with because
Yeah,
all of my former friends stopped watching after David left. I'm like, yeah, I felt the Matt Smith era. I was completely alone at school. I could not talk to anyone about it.
yeah. I was towards the end, like in primary school. I remember by the 50th anniversary, not not a lot of people were into it. I still remember this first series. I still had a few people though. I still not as big as the RTD era, but I still there were a few people who were still watching. But yeah, it is odd. People still now look on Matt Smith's era with fondness, and I often hear it's
Yeah,
Capaldi that it was the moment that they stopped. So it is interesting. I just think it's that gut reaction that happens every time a new Doctor's announced, where it's just like I'm never gonna watch the show again, and it's sort of.
I'm just gonna make 50 videos on it, which shall explain why I'm never watching again.
Yeah, I remember that there's the video did the rounds when Capaldi was announced, and it was just this girl. I don't know how old she was, but she was watching the announcement, and he walks out onto stage, and she just goes, "Oh, he's ugly, he's ugly, he's old," and I'm pretty sure it's just like,
Oh wow.
"Oh, he's ugly."
Oh man. He's
Uh,
ugly.
I think Matt Smith channels Patrick Troughton a lot during that scene there with the ring with Amy. That's very Troughton. Reminds me a lot of Team of the
Definitely,
Cybermen.
yeah. Yeah, well, they rang up Stephen Moffat saying how much he loved it.
Yeah.
Tomb of the Cybermen. He said, Tomb of the Cybermen and City of Death, I think he watched. I don't know what else he watched, but he said those were two of his favourites.
Yes. Yeah. He, he was an unknown basically. He had acted before, like you said, but he was an unknown. But how brilliant he is during these, I think Series 5 is
Yeah,
his best in terms of performance. I just think it's just he manages to be
that's true, yeah.
so old and so young at the same time. Was he being the youngest actor at the time?
Yeah, it's so hard
But
to
yeah,
pull off, but it's brilliant, yeah. And also, Karen Gillan's gone on to a franchise you may have heard of called the Marvel Cinematic
yeah.
Universe, which, yeah, it's alright. I think he'll catch on in a bit.
Karen Gillan is she's a huge star now. She's a really big star, and she's gone on to
Yeah,
do so much.
yeah, it's so weird to think that when this was out, the MCU was just starting with Iron Man 2,
Yeah, it was still
and
fledgling.
Guardians of the Galaxy was only, I think, 4 years away.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think she got that not long after leaving Doctor Who, I think.
yeah. And I think me, when I think of Karen Gillan, I think of Doctor Who, but the world at large seems to think of Marvel now, and obviously Jumanji because she's in the new Jumanji
That's true,
films,
yeah.
which I really enjoy the new Jumanji films. I think they're a lot of fun, but she's a big part of that, and yeah, she's gone on to great things. This
Yeah, I love this Cyberman. I love how it looks really scary when it's all
yeah,
broken up and rusty like this.
it's really cool.
The fact that it tries to take her head is just really disturbing.
And I love that you can hear the stomping of the body, like slowly seeping into the audio
Yeah,
mix, and then you just see it come around the corner. It's really brilliantly done. So cool.
just don't buy it getting killed by a sword
Yeah, me
unless
neither.
it was dipped in gold.
Yeah. But then again, I guess you can make the argument of like, oh, it was it was rusted anyway, so it's sort of like
Yeah, fair.
it was
Because yeah,
damaged
the doctor
anyway.
says says got dusted up by the locals. Never underestimate a Celt.
Yes. So this is the thing I
But I
always.
do like in
Yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say in this episode the Cyberman seems the big threat, and then in the next episode it's like the Stone Dalek.
Yeah, for sure. I
Though I do wonder, because say if this was David's last story, would his regeneration have been caused by being shot by a Dalek and regenerates
uh,
while flying into the Pandorica?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to imagine a regeneration fitting into this as well. It is. It's quite. I mean, again, yeah, it's difficult to imagine Tennant this being a payoff to Tennant because I think, yeah, I think the
Yeah,
way it went, this is very much Matt's series. This is a payoff to Matt's Doctor rather than the Doctor as a whole. Kind of, it's very much based around Smith, and I think, yeah, I can't really imagine the series with a returning Doctor really.
one thing I think Moffat is really good at doing is writing multiple companions.
Mm.
Because if you look at stories that have Amy and Rory in them, they get a lot to do most of the time.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I think even in this story, in the series 6 opener, um, the Doctor, Amy, Rory, and River all get equal amounts of screen time and get stuff to do.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great ensemble piece, really.
I love how the Doctor completely misses Rory.
Yeah, it's really brilliant.
Yeah, the whole I'm not one to miss the obvious Rory, and I feel like there's something staring at my face, but I don't.
I like the cartoony bit where he pokes Rory and he seems to go back on the spot.
Yeah, I'm not being mean, but you died.
Yeah.
I know. I was there. But yeah, I'm glad none of the trailers gave it away that Rory came back because
Yeah.
that would have been bad. Yeah, like how they kept it a secret. But yeah, by Doctor's wife, it kind of became a recurring thing that Rory keeps dying.
Yeah, that's when it started to become the whole to the point where in the series 6 finale that one silent goes, the man who dies and dies and dies again. And it's just
Yeah,
like,
I think he died more than the Doctor did in about 30 years.
yes.
Yeah, that was so perfect. The poke and how he just goes back. And the funny thing about Arthur Darvill is that he's actually a few months older than Matt Smith, so
Yeah.
kind of makes it one of the rare occasions where the companion is older than the Doctor.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose we've had Bernard Cribbins as Wilfred, and Bradley Walsh as Graham.
Yeah.
Don't know if that ever happened in the classic series thing.
Well, you. I guess. I guess if you include Big Finish, you've got Evelyn. But
Yeah, true.
yeah,
Now I know there's quite a few classic Doctors. I'm not sure which ones. I'm sure one of them's Sylvester McCoy, who's done the Pandorica speech here.
oh
He's
yeah.
talking to the spaceships.
So that it's kind of become a mini convention tradition, or at least it was. I'm not sure if it still is, but fans asking doctors to do this speech and also the Akaten speech it's become a mini tradition
Yeah,
at
I know
conventions.
Colin's done. Yeah, I know Colin's done a Akaten speech, and I know that Paul McGann has done the ending speech to Day of the Doctor. That Clara sometimes asks me if I dream.
Yes, yes, yeah. I think there's a compilation video on YouTube somewhere of like every
Yeah.
Doctor who's done this. Because Paul McGann's done it at an American convention as well.
I mean, someone should do an edit of this with the 11th Doctor saying, I am talking, and then you cut to the 10th Doctor from the Idiot's Lantern saying, and I'm not listening!
I'm sure I've seen that before. I'm sure that's been done somewhere.
And I'm not listening!
That must have been done.
But I think in the original script it was quite longer because he went through quite a few of the enemies saying, Daleks, you old pepperbot Cyberman with those stupid handles, Sontarans, potato head, something like that, I don't know. Yeah.
I think it's kind of a perfect length as it is, I think. It's a
And I
brilliant
know some
thing.
people have, yeah, some people have said, why don't they just shoot the Doctor?
Yeah.
Because don't you think they've been trying that for the past 40 odd years and it's not worked?
Exactly, yeah. It's like, why don't
They've
they
tried killing him and it's not working,
Yeah.
but if we imprison him in the perfect prison ever, that could work.
Exactly. That's the whole reason for the Alliance's existence, right? That's the whole reason that.
It is, yeah.
That's the whole reason. It's like, well.
Oh, interestingly enough, there's a line in the end of the episode where where the Dalek says only the Doctor can pilot the TARDIS. That actually led to a theory that River Song could have been a future incarnation of the Doctor.
I remember that theory going around, yeah.
Yeah. I think that was kind of a solid theory, but yeah, that didn't come true, but it kind of did with the 13th Doctor.
Yes,
We
yeah.
now have a female Doctor.
River Song is a pre-Hartnell Doctor.
Wallace from Wallace and Gromit is a pre-Hartnell Doctor. I can imagine him getting up in the TARDIS and saying, "Porridge today, Amy. Tuesday." Heck, Wallace even says Geronimo at one point.
Yes, he does, yeah.
Oh, it's so sad that Amy doesn't remember Rory and the Doctor kind of goes along with it. That's kind of mean.
I know, yeah, it's really... It's... Yeah. And it's great character drama as well. It's really great character drama.
Yeah. I will say I do like their ending that they get zapped to the past and they live out their days together. And I know the episode in Angel's Tale and Hand tries to say we can't go back there because it's fixed time.
Yeah.
But why don't you just go outside of New York and meet them? I mean, you were willing to travel to America in The Impossible Astronaut, so...
That's true, yeah.
Just go to the next town. Bada bing, bada boom,
Yeah.
you got them.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Now, 26th of June 2010, that's when the Big Bang actually aired. It's good they got that down, right? Because
Yeah.
that would have been pretty awkward if they missed it.
It would have been awkward if it was like a Series 3 situation where, like we talked about last time, that the parts of the series got delayed by a couple of weeks because of Eurovision. Would have been awkward if that happened here.
Toby Haynes directed this, didn't he?
I believe so.
He
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, he did A Christmas Carol, and then he did the Series 6 opener.
Mm.
It's a shame he didn't do more because all those episodes look fantastic. They've got a great cinematic quality to them.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. And I think from A Christmas Carol onwards, there's a definite difference in the way things were being shot. Like, from A Christmas Carol, I think it does tend to look so much more cinematic than even this. And this does look great. You know, don't get me wrong, this looks fantastic. But you get to Christmas Carol and it is kind of immediately sort of, oh wow, this is a bit different.
Now this is the it's off Series 5 is often dubbed the fairy tale season,
Yeah, yeah.
and I suppose you can describe fairy tale and fantasy for the whole of the Matt Smith era because it's just a really good way to I think approach Doctor Who, particularly for a new Doctor, because you've got the idea of imaginary friends and things like that.
And it
And
works. Yeah.
just before we move on, this voice here, we never find out who it
Oh
is.
my god, no, we
11
don't.
years on.
But it scared me so much when I was younger. It really, like, that voice.
I remember so many fans. I remember so many fans thinking, "Is it Omega?" I mean, nowadays, whenever we get a new trailer, it's always just, "Oh, is it the Sea Devils? Is it the Rani?
Yeah.
Is it Omega?"
Oh, that's the thing. Every time a female character appears in Doctor Who nowadays, it's the Rani! It's the Rani! It's like, calm down. One of these days you'll be right, but this whole bit when I was younger really scared me. Like the whole thing with the door being broken down and everything, and it pitch black in the house. Jesus, when I was younger, it really
this could be this could be a horror film.
Yeah, it looks like it.
You do wonder which of the Doctor's enemies went inside. Was it the Autons?
I'm assuming so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think because we've seen this location before as well in the 11th hour, and obviously that episode is very bright and colourful. When we're seeing it here in this,
and this is very dark.
Yeah, it's sinister. It's properly sinister. It really freaks me out.
Yeah. So yeah, they're implying that the Doctor's enemies used Amy's memories to trap the Doctor, because obviously he'd question Romans, Pandora's box. You said you liked us. What's this got to do with everything?
Yeah,
so obviously
yeah.
he'd stay, and then they'd trap him. Perfect. And of course, Rory being there as well, he'd obviously question, how can he be here? He's dead.
It's really well thought out. It's really well done.
Yeah, because I remember on first viewing, I wasn't the biggest fan of this finale, because I was expecting a recurring enemy like we had from series 1 to 4.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had them in this episode, but then they're kind of gone for the second half, so that kind of disappointed me. But yeah, having grown up, I realise not every finale has to have 1,000 Daleks flying through the air.
Yeah, and when I was younger, I was definitely, like I spoke about earlier, the second part being a much quieter affair. That did disappoint me when I was younger, but again, as I've grown older, it's like that's something I really like about this, that each part is so different, but it all works together as a whole.
This is so painful for Rory.
Yeah.
He just wants to be happy that he's back and remember him, but she can't remember him. Oh, it's so sad.
It's really well done. Yeah. And this is where I love the music here as well. Everything sort of falling into place in a really sinister way. So good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love how the Romans look exactly like the
Yeah,
drawings in the picture
yeah,
book.
yeah,
That is such a cool detail.
yeah.
Actually, yeah, it makes sense if the Autons did go there, because copying people is what they do.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah,
In fact, to the Zygons copy people, and they did mention them. It'd be cool if those Romans,
yeah,
I don't know, activated and morphed into Zygons. That would have been a nice bit of fan
yeah.
service.
And then, like the intercutting between these three locations as well. It's so well done. Really well done.
It is. It is very well done. And let me try and get my head round this. The church thingy majiggy from Time of the Doctor, they caused this to happen because they wanted to stop the Doctor from getting to Trenzalore, but the TARDIS blowing up is what caused the cracks in time to happen in the first place,
Yeah.
and the cracks in time is Gallifrey coming through, and oh dear, I've gone cross-eyed.
Okay.
Oh,
I
it is complicated.
as a self-contained thing at the end of the series, it does kind of work, and you're sort of like, "Oh, maybe we'll find out what a bit more about this next time." But then, as you go later on in the era, it just becomes a bit of a mess. It's like,
Yeah, that's kind of the problem with Moffat's story arcs in the 11th Doctor era. He just left them dangling for too long. And by
yeah,
the time they do answer who blew up the TARDIS in Time of the Doctor, a lot of people might have forgotten about that.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
Plus, at that point, we had Clara, and it was a new companion, and it felt like a different. It almost felt like a different era of the show, and it just felt weird that it was going back to that again. It was odd.
yeah, because I'm glad for 12's era he did drop the interconnected series,
Yeah, same.
and they were pretty self-contained for the most part. Yeah.
Mm.
In fact, I felt he learnt his. I think he learnt it in Series 10 because we had the first half of the series. We had the Vault mystery, and yeah, that gets resolved in Extremis, which is at the middle of the series.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
think it was a bit predictable to say, "Oh, it's Missy inside." At least he resolved it rather than just waiting for the finale.
True. Yeah, I do remember that though, because everyone was just like, "No, it can't be Missy. It's so obviously not Missy. It's too obvious." And then it was revealed, and it was like, "Oh right." Everyone was just sort of like, "Oh, okay, egg on my face then."
I mean, I even theorized it's the 13th Doctor.
Yeah. Thing is, I've learnt not to make strong predictions anymore, because if you go back to my videos I did on Series 8 when it was airing, when I was like 13 years old, there's this one video where I'm like, "Missy is not the master." Like, really strong, and then, cut to a few weeks later, and I'm just like, "Oh, alright then." So I've learnt not to make strong predictions.
You see, I guessed that.
Yeah?
I actually guessed that, and then on Twitter, when she revealed she was the master, I just said, "Told you so."
Yeah.
But I personally feel that twist would have been a lot stronger if the first time we saw Missy was the first time the Doctor saw Missy,
Yeah.
because then we
Yeah.
wouldn't have had about 11 weeks guessing who she is. It would have been, I think it would have been much more impactful, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Because it would have come out of nowhere as well. I the levels of epicness
Okay,
here.
one nitpick here. If the Pandorica, yeah, if the Pandorica's for the Doctor, why are they taking him away from it only to push him back?
It's
They're trying to make a scene for him.
it's for dramatic effect. It's we can make this big reveal.
A moment of silence. This is the final appearance of the Eternal Dalek.
Yeah, rest in peace, Paradigm Boys. And it's the final appearance of them in like their original form as well, because the next time every time the Paradigms appeared, they'd have like a modification to them, and like in Series 7, for example, the red ones are they're like a matte
Yeah, they look
color.
darker.
Yeah, they're like a matte color, whereas these are glossy and. They could have done so much with the Paradigms, but unfortunately the fans didn't like them, and I don't know.
Yeah, Cybermen, Shadoon. I'm so glad they brought back Christopher Ryan to play the Sontaran.
Yeah.
Because I'd have thought they'd have asked Dan Starkey.
Yeah, same. I'm glad they brought back Christopher Ryan, because it's just such a. Yeah, he's only in it for a bit, but it's just cool. And I remember the levels of epicness in this scene when I was younger. Proper goosebumps at all these creatures here, and
The that ready for you,
ready for you.
gets me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the behind the scenes on Confidential, and it shows when Nick Briggs says that line. You can tell he had so much fun saying "ready for you."
Yeah, yeah. And it's and the Jadoon coming up to the camera and mugging for the camera and going.
Yeah. Silurians as well, yeah.
Silurians are there.
Hoiks.
Let's get the money out of that costume for
And
this
those Roboforms. Where are my Zygons? Where are my Dravins?
Again, they just raided the BBC costume cupboard.
I mean, I think in the corner as well we should have some moving seaweed from Fury from the Deep, and then in another corner, giant maggots going.
In another corner, Fifi from the Happiness Patrol. Fifi's just there. And like,
if you look at this aerial shot here, you can see a Uvodny from Sarah Jane.
Yeah.
A blowfish from Torchwood.
A blowfish in the suit as well, in the stylish purple suit, looking dapper as all hell.
Oh, and there's a Sycorax there as well.
Yep, Sycorax. The Hoik's clenching a fist. I'll tell you what.
God, look, I mean, in Torchwood, they established that the Hoix is just dumb and it eats meat. So how's it smart enough to hate the Doctor?
Yeah. How
did they convince the Hoix to join us?
Yeah.
Join us, and the Doctor will stop, and you can have all the meat you want.
Well, that's it, because in Love and Monsters, they're chasing it with buckets of meat and buckets of water and stuff, and it's like, well, I never got the impression that it was a civilized race.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I love this track. I love this music track.
It is great,
Life and Death of Amy Pond. And Chris Ryan's great for the little time he's in this. You know, the whole "we will save the universe from you." Like, he's really going for it. He's really good.
Yeah, it's General Stahl in in that series 4 two-parter. He's great in that.
He's brilliant.
General Stahl. Yeah.
Chris Ryan's fantastic.
And as a Cyberman fan, I'm happy that it's them who say "seal the Pandorica."
Yeah, yeah. And the look of pure joy on Chris Ryan's face as that Sontaran. He's just like, yes, yeah, boy.
And there's something so scary about River opening the TARDIS and just finding a stone wall,
Stone, yeah.
as if she's reached the end of the line, and then the TARDIS literally
Oh
explodes.
god, yeah.
And I love how there's so much colour in the sky just for a split second because of all them exploding, but it just leaves up.
It just
Yeah, we
goes,
just leave
yeah.
this inky black. It's
It's
brilliant.
so well
And
done.
one of Doctor Who's greatest
It
cliffhangers.
really is well done. And like the audio mix just goes
And there's
abruptly dead
no
silent as well.
and there's no next time trail, thank God.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. It's not like World War Three. Oi, you want aliens, you got them inside down in three. Come on.
I guess he's alright then.
Imagine if the next time trailer had the Doctor appearing in the museum and saying, "Come along, Pons."
That is a good thing about, although there's no next time trailer here, that is one good thing about the Steelbook version, is that it added the next time trailers back in.
Yeah, because they were absent in the DVD versions, and I think the original Blu-ray. Because
They are,
I have
yeah.
no idea why.
It's so weird, and it's it's so weird that they were. I'm glad they added back in. Although the Steelbook does have slowdown, it's one of those things where it's the episodes are kind of more complete because you've got the next time trailers and everything, and
Yeah, because some of the episodes we had the next time trailers, they run to about 40 minutes.
yeah, and plus like in Vampires of Venice, I think it is, when you see the title, you see the end credit sequence come through the TARDIS keyhole, and I remember on the broadcast, that end of Vampires of Venice was so impactful because you go through the keyhole and then you get this "doo" next time. But on the original Blu-ray, it doesn't really have the same effect because it's just you hear the theme straight away, and it just it's not quite as good.
And one thing I noticed is the Pandorica has a very distinct light, and when they close it, it obviously shuts out.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
then they later established that the Pandorica only has the only light left in the universe, which is what they used to relight the fire. I remember being so confused when they cut to this, because I'm like,
Oh,
wait, I've seen this before.
having it be the exact same shot.
Did I put have they put on the 11th hour by
By
mistake?
yeah. I think it is interesting though that you can see that the 11th hour here, it was clearly shot on a different camera because it's a hell of a lot sharp. Like this footage from the 11th hour is a lot kind of overly sharpened, and the whole episode's like that compared to the rest of the series. And you can kind of see it here in the using the same footage. And it's a brilliant subversion of it because you're like, oh, it's the start of the series again, and then you don't hear any
Oh,
sound.
so the
And it's
Doctor's
like,
gonna come. Is the Doctor gonna come back via, being with Amelia again?
via
But
that,
no, it
yeah.
doesn't happen. Yeah, because I think her looking out the window. I think that's obviously a different shot because she's only looking at the garden.
Yeah, and
No TARDIS.
that's what I mean. You can see the camera, the camera clearly changes because it does. The footage does look kind of different from the reused portion from the 11th hour.
And Amelia remembering stars. It obviously links to the idea of memories. If something is remembered, it can be brought back, and it's remembered later when Amy remembers who the Doctor is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just everything here is so intricately written in.
It's really
Everything
well
is
done.
paid off. Just in this series, yeah. And of course, we get this whole episode is basically Moffat's wibbly wobbly timey wimey coming
Oh
to full
yeah,
effect.
distilled. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you go back and watch the 11th hour, during I think the moment when Amelia waits for the Doctor to come back, during that scene where it cuts to the next day, you can see someone running through the house, and I think it's the Doctor maybe putting
Yes,
Amelia to bed
and that's
in
such a
at
cool
the end of this
detail.
episode. Yeah.
Because when you watch the 11th hour, you don't sort of think when you finish watching it, you don't really think, "Oh, who was that guy?" Because I think everyone pretty much just assumes that it's Prisoner Zero, right? Everyone kind of just assumes that it's
Yeah, it could
that's
be.
what I assumed and then you watch this and it's like, holy shit, that's such a cool bit of foreshadowing and callback. Yeah,
Small detail, yeah.
yeah. And interestingly, the Pandorica is called the Anomaly on all those, which means Primeval fans like myself had a mini heart attack when this went out, thinking that it was going to be a Primeval crossover.
Well, I know Russell T Davies wanted a Doctor Who and Star Trek: The Next Generation
Yeah,
crossover.
and that did happen in the Star Trek TNG comics.
Ah,
There's a
cool.
famous comic cover with like Matt Smith, Patrick Stewart, and a Cyberman. It's really cool.
hmm And just there, what we've seen is the Doctor stealing Amelia's drink. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's this is so strikingly different from the Pandorica opens. It's such a character piece, but it works so well. And we talked about how long the pre-title sequence was, that first one.
Oh yeah, this is
This is
pretty
long
long
as
as
well. This
well.
is really long, yeah.
Yeah, I can remember when it it had, as we're about to see Amy coming out of the Pandorica, I was like, okay, what?
Yes, she must need to pee so badly. She was there for about 6 hours. What? She was without not moving from that.
Yeah, she was there till closing.
Jesus Christ.
Well, Caitlin Blackwood, who plays Amelia, she was Karen Gillan's cousin, wasn't
She
she?
was, yeah, yeah, yeah. And Caitlin Blackwood's turns up at conventions from time to time. She's still kind of into it, really.
Yeah, I saw her at the infamous 50th anniversary after party.
Oh God.
Oh,
Oh dear,
that.
dear, dear. What a disaster! That was on ITV the other week. It was an episode of It'll Be Alright on the Night, and they showed a clip from that the infamous One Direction clip.
Oh god, I think Moffat's reaction to that just sums it up because you can hear him say, "Oh, for the love of God, we can't do
Yeah.
this."
It's hilarious. It is proper car crash. Poor John Hurt is sat there not having a clue what's going on.
Yeah,
It's so funny.
yeah. I remember my jaw dropping when I first saw that. I was like, "What?
Yeah,
This doesn't make sense." Also, you've got to love when the Doctor regenerates the time vortex changes.
yeah. That's
Because if you watch the chase, it's like if you watch the chase, the William Hartnell story, it takes place inside a kaleidoscope. In the ninth and
yeah,
tenth Doctor here, it's a what is it? It's red and blue, and here it's smoky clouds and fiery orange that
yeah.
the TARDIS travels down.
That's right. 'Cause
Well, one detail I like in the 13th Doctor here is that when you see them traveling through the vortex, you can see many different
yeah,
portals,
it's a
and that's
really
so
cool
that's such a cool
effect.
detail.
It's a really cool effect, like having like the TARDIS go through this big like universe, and it's all sorts of portals. It's really cool.
Yeah, we get quite the whimsical opening, and then we cut to this
Yeah,
this rather dark beginning.
yeah, it's lit.
But it merges so well together when the Doctor appears and says, "Oh, Rory, she's not dead." Well, she is, but she's not.
Well, it's not the end of the
Yeah, it
world.
doesn't feel like a tone shift at all.
Well,
Well, it is.
it is the end of the world, but
Now this started the whole infamous. Funnily enough, when I see Olymp Doctor cosplays, I see some of them with the fez, and even then, I even see some people with a mop.
oh yeah, it's become a big. I mean, they even made a figure of
Yeah,
this, didn't they? It was just
they did,
and
yeah.
because you could get the Pandorica. It was like a CD collection, wasn't it? And I have it here, and it's on my shelf, and it's all built up and everything, and it's had loads of audio books of Target novels.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah, and
I remember those.
the discs that made up the patterns on the Pandorica were the CDs, and it's really cool.
Yeah, that was cool to
Yeah, it's
collect, I
really cool
think.
because they all came with one side of the Pandorica, a CD, and a figure, and yeah, it's really cool.
Nice. I remember someone did an edit of this clip. They're holding obviously the same screwdriver, but someone edited it into lightsabers.
Yes, yeah,
And yeah, the way they walk here, it's like they're almost about to duel, to be honest.
it's a really cool sonic screwdriver. I really like that Sonic.
Yeah. Yeah, the stone Dalek is so cool.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. And the
Yeah,
fact
I'm glad they made a figure out of it, but I'm kind of sad they never did a glass Dalek figure from Revelation of the Daleks.
you'd think that'd be a really easy thing to do because it's just transparent plastic.
Yeah, because they did a light wave Dalek from Planet of the
Yeah,
Daleks
yeah.
back in 2013. So I'm like, I mean, surely making a glass Dalek, put a purple mutant in it, it'd be
It would
cool.
have been really cool, yeah. I like that. I killed her. Oh, Rory. What did you do
As you
that
do.
for?
Yeah, Moffat, when it comes to death, he tends to have a very fairy tale, fantasy, almost optimistic view on it.
Yeah,
As if to say, you could die, but it doesn't have to be the end. Whereas Russell T Davies was very direct. If you died, you died.
that was it. Yeah, death
There's no
was
afterlife.
death.
You don't get a happy
Yeah.
ending. 200 people die in Dalek. They're not going to get an afterlife where if something is remembered, it can be brought back.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think both definitely have their place.
Yeah, both have their place for sure. It's a different style of like, because a lot of people kind of write the whole uh, Moffat.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
after Series 8 aired, our good friend Scarily Vids was saying, Death is now irrelevant in the Doctor Who universe. I think he stopped after like the first two episodes of Series 9. Then he disappeared, kind of like how
Yeah.
the Feast of Stephen disappeared. He was there once, never to be seen again.
Never to be seen again.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I have actually found his channel because I'm still subscribed to it because I used to be subscribed, and yeah, all that's on there is an Amazing Spider-Man Minecraft parody. So
From when? 2012, when the first Amazing Spider-Man came out.
it looks like it. In fact, okay, hang on. It was uploaded, yeah, 2012, and it's a parody trailer.
Oh god.
It's a parody trailer. It's basically
Yeah, because he
yeah.
because I think building up to the 50th anniversary, he reviewed like every episode of the new series
Yeah,
a day. I'm
he
like,
did, yeah.
Jesus. So like from Rose to Name of the Doctor, I think.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, it's literally just the trailer for the Amazing Spider-Man, but remade in Minecraft.
Wow.
It's interesting how some channels' content can just disappear, and then all that's left. I feel like that's very reflective on the state of YouTube. Everything disappears, and all that's left is Minecraft
Yeah.
parodies.
I think Rory's arc in Series 5 is about a boy becoming a man. Because if
Yes,
you watch
yeah.
him in the 11th hour, he's very much kind of a bumbling idiot,
Yeah.
stumbles over his words. Then when we next see him in Vampires of Venice, he's kind of he's grown up a bit, and he's kind of read up on the whole another dimension thing, which is why he's not surprised that the TARDIS is bigger on the inside.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And he's more keen to get married in Amy's Choice because he's seen what the future's like, and by this here, he's willing to guard Amy for 2,000 years. Yeah, I'm gonna make quite a weird comparison here, but the Series 5 reminds me a lot of Peter Pan. The Doctor is Peter Pan, and Amy and Rory are kind of like Wendy and Michael and John, I think the boys are called, yeah.
I can definitely see that. I can definitely see
Reminds
that.
me of that,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the Doctor kind of never grows up or never grows old, whereas
Yeah,
Amy and Rory have to learn to grow up.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, again, adding to the whole fairy tale feel.
And I really like the payoff to that in The Girl Who Waited, when it's that whole thing of her losing her faith in the Doctor is literally just it's about it's about those two characters having to stop seeing each other, seeing these idealized views of each other, and it's about them seeing each other for who they really are.
Definitely, yeah.
It's yeah, not Girl Who Waited, fucking God Complex, that's it.
This is Nick Briggs, isn't it, doing the
Yeah, it
video,
is,
isn't it?
yeah.
I'm sure it is. That's a nice
It
cameo.
definitely, yeah, it sounds like him, yeah.
Because I know he's appeared in Torchwood as a quote-unquote human, but I
Human.
don't think he's appeared in Doctor Who as himself yet, where he's not doing like a voice role.
It's really cool artwork as well on the.
Yeah. Also, just going back to the Doctor with the mop and fez, I guarantee if Battles in Time was still around at this point,
Oh yeah.
that totally would have been a card.
Oh, for sure.
The Doctor with mop and fez.
That would have been one of the rare cards. Well, we had Monster Invasion around this time.
I'll tell you what.
We had the.
We did, yeah.
And...
I'll tell you what's a rare card. Peter Tyler from a parallel universe. Because we all want a businessman. We all want... Because something that's a businessman is rare in our lives, isn't it? We'd have also had Rory as a security guard. Rory as a Roman. Rory on his stag night. It just reminds me of that joke from The Simpsons where they're looking through Krusty trading cards. Krusty visits relatives in Maryland, Ohio. Krusty poses for trading card photo. He's really running low on ideas.
The thing is, though, you're joking now, but I actually think those were Monster Invasion cards.
What makes sense?
I actually think those were
no.
because I've got a because they did a TARDIS display case thing where it was this big TARDIS and you put all your cards in there, and I've still got that. It's right on the top of my shelf. I might actually do a video about that, like unboxing it and seeing the kind of cards that we got.
Well, I've seen quite a few people on YouTube unbox Battles in Time cards,
Yeah,
and yeah, I would do that, but I don't really want to spend my money again on those cards because
yeah,
I think the reaction would be quite funny to what I get, but yeah,
yeah.
I don't think it'd be too worth it for me. I think I've still got mine in the loft in like that folder that came with it.
Oh yeah, the folder. Yeah, I
Yeah, I'll
remember
have to have a
that.
look.
That was yeah.
Wonder if anyone ever played Snap with those cards, like you had that symbol in the corner that said what it was, like hero, human, monster, alien, Cyberman, Dalek.
Yeah, yeah,
Could have played Snap with that.
yeah.
Yeah, and once again, it's perfectly paid off here.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And Caitlin Blackwood's great. It did make me laugh in Time with the Doctor when they had their little appearance from the kid Amy, and it's clearly not Caitlin Blackwood.
It's
It's
clearly not
clearly
her.
a completely different child, and they've just put like stock signs of kids laughing over the soundtrack.
Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, if anything, I get what they were going for, but if anything, I'd have just cut child Amelia and just had Amy appear,
Yeah,
probably.
same. Like you said, I get what they were going for, but it's one of those things where it's like,
I remember watching this on transmission, even though you technically seen the Doctor die here, it still shocked me when the Dalek shot him because it was pretty out of
oh
nowhere.
yeah, for
It was
sure.
pretty much in the middle of exposition, and then boom, he's dead. And once again, even though we're now in a museum, the atmosphere still hasn't lost because the lighting's still very dark, very cold, as if everything in the universe is dying.
Yeah, yeah.
And then later we see like the exhibits from earlier. We see that they've faded, and now Amelia's faded.
It works so well, and like the progression of everything, and it's really
Yeah.
well done. It's like it's not over the top or anything. And it's a really cool setting for a story as well. An abandoned
Yeah,
museum,
museums.
really cool.
Where it definitely doesn't work is in the forest of the night
Yeah.
because we're stuck with annoying children.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what people do when they're in love. Do you know anything?
Oh, annoying children and buses that have posters for the series that they were filming at the time on.
Oh
There's
yeah.
literally a poster for Series 8
You
in
know
the
what annoys me
background.
most about that episode is when there is, yeah, and I can remember, yeah, there's that woman who's on the phone, and then only when she opens her door she sees, oh shit, trees are everywhere. Surely the person on the phone would have told you that. Or I don't know if you simply looked out your window when you woke up. Oh,
Oh, oh, don't you just hate it when yeah, come downstairs, have your porridge, have your cornflakes, and there's fucking trees everywhere. Oh, Where's my daughter? Oh, she's been missing for years. Oh, she was just hiding in the bush outside. It's so dumb.
I know. Before anyone asks, no, that is not the Capaldi episode we'll be covering.
Yeah, no,
I don't want
yes.
to torture myself. We want to praise most of these stories, so that won't be
God,
it.
can you imagine? Jesus Christ. Oh, I love it on the Wikipedia page for that episode.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there used to be a thing, and I remember I tweeted about this, and the tweet kind of blew up.
yeah.
It used to have, for anyone that doesn't know, it used to have on the bottom of the Wikipedia page for In the Forest of the Night, it said, Stephen Moffat has defended the episode, saying that it will grow in stature over the years, and then it just had this blunt sentence, two word sentence. It hasn't. Full stop.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote
I think
that.
that's been taken off now.
Yes, it has.
But
Yeah.
yeah, whoever wrote it clearly didn't like the episode.
If you go to my Twitter and search for the tweet, it'll probably still be there. I've still got the screenshots saved.
Also, in hindsight, this is a family reunion.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
You've got mum, dad, daughter, and the son-in-law.
Mm.
In fact, someone posted recently, I think it was on the TARDIS posting page, where it said, in The Power of Three, Amy got engaged to Henry VIII. Henry VIII's daughter is Elizabeth I, who married the 10th Doctor. This means that Amy Pond is the Doctor's mother-in-law twice. Oh, God. What I do like about this finale is that it doesn't answer all of the questions that have started since the series
Yeah,
began.
yeah.
Because I think if they did that, there'd be fear of overstuffing everything, which I
Yeah.
think is the weakness of something like Time of the Doctor, where it just tries to answer everything at
Oh
once.
yeah, it's so overstuffed. It just ends up being so unsatisfying.
Yeah. Yeah, because Time of the Doctor, I like the idea of the Doctor using his last years defending a town because it's the right thing to do. That's a really great concept for a regeneration story.
It is, yeah.
It's just overshadowed by a lot of dangling plot threads that
For
most
sure.
of the time aren't even satisfyingly resolved.
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing. I really like a lot of that when it's I like the Time of the Doctor for the heart, and it's got a lot of heart to it and a lot of emotional kind of resonance. But unfortunately, it is just bogged down by the plot.
Yeah, I love what River does to the Dalek here. I love how he even shakes when it says mercy.
Yeah, mercy.
Yeah, because I'm guessing it realizes what River does,
Yeah,
and yeah. So from the Dalek's point of view, she did what they never could. So naturally, it's terrified. Stone dead. How long
Stone
did it take
dead.
you to figure that out?
So what I really like about the paradigms though is that veiny looking eye in the eye stalk. It looks really cool.
Yeah, because it looks like the mutant eye that's inside.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It's really cool. Oh, here we go. The rule one, the Doctor lies thing. That becomes that becomes a recurring thing.
That becomes kind of an annoying trait
Yeah,
that I don't really
me
like.
neither. It's really obnoxious.
It just kind of puts a bit of kind of just tells the audience, "Oh, don't trust your
Yeah,
hero," which no, you don't really need to be honest.
that's sort of one of the problems I have with the later Moffat era is that we kept kind of getting refrains like that and like titles like the Impossible Girl and stuff like that, and like really obnoxious things like that. It's
Yeah.
difficult to explain, but certain refrains and lines of dialogue and
Then again, I think. Then again, I think Russell also did it as well. You've
yeah,
got
true,
things like
yeah.
the Bad Wolf,
Oh yeah, for
the
sure.
Man Who Can Never Die, the Woman Who Walked the Earth, the
Yeah.
most important woman in the whole of creation.
No, yeah, for sure. That is very true. Yeah.
But in reality, Journey's End, the Series 4 arc should have been about that control panel in Journey's End. It feels unimportant within the Dalek Crucible, but Rose Tyler pops along and says, "Control panel, you're the most convenient thing in the whole of creation. You can do so much things. You can make Daleks spin, disable their weaponry, disable the reality bomb, send planets home, and blow up the Crucible. You're so important and
We
convenient."
should have got. We should have had the control panel as the companion for Series 4. It would just been this bat.
I'm not important.
It would have just been this badly composited CGI control panel walking around the the episodes.
But yeah, I love this. The Doctor relighting the fire,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
going right into the heart of it, but at the cost of him not being able to be remembered again.
And this is such an emotional climax as well. The whole thing when we get to it, the whole thing of like, oh, there were too many rooms in that house, and it's really well done, and it's two brilliant actors giving really great performances, and it makes so much sense.
Yeah, because the crack in time, it's revealed that was in the Doctor's door in the God
Yeah, yeah,
complex,
yeah.
and yeah, yeah, I was a bit unsatisfied with that because the way he reacts is like, of course, who else? It's like, yeah, but you only became aware of the cracks in time during your 11th
Yeah,
incarnation,
I
so
don't
yeah, that's a bit.
I don't think that was actually the intention. I think that was another thing where it was like he realized Stephen Moffat realized Matt wasn't coming back for Series 8 and was like, shit, I've got to wrap all this up. Crap, what's going to be in his room? Well, we'll just tie it into the cracks. I don't actually think that was the intention because the way he says who else as well, like it just doesn't seem to fit at all. I like that there's no music here as well. This is so good.
Oh yeah, brilliant, so perfect.
And I just think this is something I am missing from the Chibnall era for sure. As much as I'm enjoying the Chibnall era, I am missing this level of human drama between these characters, and because this is such a we do get it, but it's just we don't get this level of intimacy with the characters anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, because it is very much like the classic series where you wouldn't get that too much.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I love them. I love the music here as it flies off into the way it leads into "I Am the Doctor."
Yeah, that is how you end a Doctor's first series. Yeah, if he hasn't if him flying the Pandorica into the heart of Big Bang 2 to relight the fire and start the universe again doesn't convince you he's the Doctor,
yes.
The problem's with you. Nah, I'm joking.
And this was before "I Am the Doctor" began to get overused. This was when it was still like fresh.
Oh yeah.
Because I never hated "I Am the Doctor." I know a lot of people started to hate. I never hated it.
Oh yeah.
I just thought it like by series 7, it was played every 5 minutes. In the space of like.
Yeah, I was getting kind of annoyed with it. Like, yeah, every time there was an action scene involving the Doctor or an epic moment, they just start playing it. I'm like, you don't need to have it every time.
Yeah, exactly. But like,
it's like the Bond theme in the Connery era. They couldn't get any more music, so just play the Bond theme.
Whereas at this point, it was still new and fresh and cool and awesome.
Yeah, that CGI work is still really cool.
I was going to say, yeah, it still looks really good. Yeah, still holds up.
Yeah, because the Mill did series 1 to 10, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, they brought new people on for 11.
Yeah, because one of my friends from college is now working there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That must have been really awkward to film. Okay, Matt, we're just gonna put this camera guy in front of you. He's gonna shake the camera around a bit, and you just have to sort of.
He's gonna pull it up.
You just have to grunt and pant a bit. Okay, so it's just some guy in front of Matt Smith shaking the camera while he's going ooh, I love this flashback.
I noticed. I noticed. I do like how we get a mix of stuff we've not seen, but it's privy to the Doctor, and then obviously we get the Flesh and Stone and the 11th Hour stuff. Yeah. Plus, I know that kind of became a meme. It says you survived when 2020 ends, and it's the Doctor getting up saying, "Oh, I survived. Good. I love it when I do that."
I convinced myself at the end of 2020 all this would happen. We'd just be being transported through flashbacks of the year. Eventually we'll go back to the beginning. And I like that the implication here is that he was just gonna end up going back through all of his life. Because he gets to 11th Hour and he's just like, I'll skip the rest. I hate repeats. So the implication he was just gonna go back through.
Oh yeah, he does say that.
Yeah, so the implication he was just gonna go back through right to Hartnell, and it's just like he probably didn't want to sit through Fear Her or Twin Dilemma.
Twin Dilemma or Warriors of the Deep. Yeah, he should have popped up Twin Dilemma, caught the Sixth Doctor strangling Perry and be like, not one of my best days.
This whole bit is so clever because when you watch The Time of Angels, he runs off and
hmm
comes back, and I remember first watching that and thinking, oh, he's got his jacket on there, and he shouldn't have it on. And I over the years I remember thinking that's a really weird bit of editing, how it cuts to the Doctor halfway across the forest and stuff. But then when you realise it, it makes sense, and it is the fact that there's two Doctors here, and you don't realise that until the finale. That is so clever. And you completely buy into the fact that it's just a continuity error, and you think, oh well. But then it all pays
Yeah,
off.
you do think that. You think, oh, he's got his jacket on, so it must be a continuity error. But no,
Yeah,
it fits
you
perfectly
get
in.
you get
Yeah,
to here, and it's like it all makes sense. It's brilliantly done. It's so clever.
and yeah, we're now back in the house.
Mm.
Yeah, there's such a sad image of Amelia outside the house sleeping. You just think, oh, how long has she been there
Yeah,
waiting, knowing he's not going to come back? It's so sad. Yeah, I don't think we see. Yeah, I don't think there's actual footage of the Doctor running through the house, but yeah, once again, it is a really nice
it is really
detail
cool.
in the
Yeah,
11th hour.
I think it's literally just like a body double or something. It's just not, I don't. It's not actually Matt Smith,
Yeah.
but it is really. It's a really cool thing. And I love this scene by when he's sat at the bedside. So well done. So well written. It is jarring that we never that they make a big thing of being like Amy's got her mum and dad back, and then we never see them again.
But we never see them after this episode, do we?
It's
Oh
really
dear.
weird. It's really jarring.
Yeah, well, I mean, Series 6 and Series 7 Part 1, it's more of a focus on
It
Amy and
is,
Rory being a
yeah.
married couple, so I can see.
Oh yeah,
I mean, heck, we saw Brian, Rory's
that's the
dad,
thing.
but
Yeah.
Amy and Rory's dad never came round to visit.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
Amy's mum and dad never came round to
It would have
visit.
been nice if we'd just seen them occasionally, like the bit in The Power of Three when they're at the barbecue, like the whole barbecue thing when they're having the garden party and everything. Yeah, it would have been cool to have them just there, even if it was just a quick thing. And I really like because there's this whole thing that came out after Matt Smith left, and it was like, oh, he always hated being the Doctor. He hated the show. And it's like, no,
No, we
he
didn't.
really didn't.
Nah.
He's great. He's great, and he's so good in this. And I really hate when people say, "Oh, Matt Smith was terrible. He wasn't a very good actor." It's like, come on.
Yeah.
He's so the Doctor.
No.
He's there's something about Matt's Doctor where
Yeah.
it's just he's perfect.
Yeah, definitely. He's just. He's so
Yeah.
good. In fact, when I'm performing for younger audiences, I take a lot of his mannerisms
Oh,
as the 11th Doctor.
I can see why. I can absolutely see why.
Yeah,
Because being a kid like watching this, it was just
yeah. So I think
magical.
as a
He was just the perfect leading man.
yeah, it was. Well, I'll admit, as a 12-year-old, because I watched this first when I was 12,
Mm.
I was kind of against the whole fantasy thing, because I'm like, ugh, I'm an angsty teenager
Yeah.
now, I'm gonna grow
Yeah.
up, I'm gonna talk about girls and not watch kid stuff anymore, because I'm grown up. But yeah, 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 so yeah, it did take me a bit of a while to warm to Series 5, but yeah, just on retrospect now, it's still my favourite
It's
series.
fantastic.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Because I would have been about
yeah,
9
and the pacing
watching
of
this.
this,
Yeah.
The pacing of this story is just so good. It like the dialogue scenes, they never drag too long. They all feel
Mm.
important.
It's brilliantly done. And this transition as well, where it's like she goes to sleep, and then we see it in the day, and it's her as an adult. It's really good stuff. Because how old is Amy actually meant to be? Because is it ever confirmed?
21?
21 maybe. Yeah. Because
Wait, how old was she in? How old is she in the 11th hour? Did they
they
say? Is she
say it's
8?
1996, and she's maybe 8. I don't know.
Yeah, they never come out and
No,
say it.
they definitely say the year is 1996 because they said that in this. But
Yeah. Yeah, I love this. I think her mum says, "Hey, you're acting like you've never seen us before." Well, we're not going to see you after this,
exactly, we're
so.
never going to see him after this, so it's
I mean, yeah, I suppose it's a bit of a juxtaposition for people. I mean, kind of like me, who started with the new
yeah,
series, and the family members aren't that big of a deal
yeah.
as much here. We don't see them as much, which is definitely fine for what it is.
Oh yeah,
Because
for sure. It's a different era and it's a different writer's interpretation of this universe and stuff. It's perfectly fine. It would just, I think my problem with it is just they make a big thing about she's looking for her parents. She's found her parents. They're here. They're back, and then we never see them again. I think it would be better if it was just they just popped up every now and again. It's not that they needed to be a big thing or anything, but
I know coming up here you've got good thing there was a guy wearing braces and
yeah.
someone wearing a bow tie. That triggered it.
Oh, I'm just going
Imagine
to
if someone was
very.
there cosplaying as the Sixth Doctor.
Oh, I'm just going to
I
very,
remember
very
you.
obviously adjust my bow tie and really obviously draw attention to my braces.
Yeah, imagine if one of the guests came up saying, "Oh, hello, Amy. See, I'm wearing a bow tie. Like the bow tie. Bow ties are cool, remember?" Also, I love the comedic timing coming up when the Doctor says to Rory, "I offer my congratulations to that brand new Mr. Pond." No, I'm not Mr. Pond. That's not how it works.
Yeah,
That's so perfect.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I'm surprised character never made like a toy of that little book. Maybe they did.
Oh, the
Yeah,
diary. Oh, I thought they
well, they
did.
might have done.
I could be
I
wrong.
never had it certainly.
Might be one of those very rare toys, like
Yeah.
the cyber helicopter. As we all
Oh.
know, Cybermen fly helicopters. It's like for that, the people making those action figures were like they couldn't see the episode. So what happens in this episode? Anything specific? The Cybermen fly. What do they fly in? Helicopters? Okay, we'll go with that.
By the power of love and friendship and working together, we can win the day.
And kind of like Matt Smith as well. This was one of Karen Gillan's first acting roles as well, because I don't think
Yeah.
she did much before this. This was like her big break as
Mm.
well. And kind of like Matt,
She's
she's still obviously she's gone on to be in the
yeah, and
MCU.
I really want to see the film she directed, because she directed and starred in a film recently, and I haven't watched it yet. The Party's Just Beginning, it was called.
I love this old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that old marriage motto, something blue.
Something borrowed and something blue.
I mean, to all the weddings I've been, I've never seen. Maybe I should bring a TARDIS toy
Yeah.
in and be like, "What have you got that
There
for?"
you go.
Something blue.
Is this finale longer than usual? It's an hour, isn't it?
It
Yeah, I
is,
thought
yeah.
so.
It's well, I think it's 55 minutes. Pandorica Opens is also
Yeah,
50
yeah,
minutes,
it's
so
longer than
yeah,
usual.
slightly
Yeah.
longer than usual.
Yeah, I was just looking at the time on the commentary that we've been recording for. I was like, oh shit, we're it's a cool outfit for the Doctor as well.
I mean, he's probably traumatized these guests because obviously, as they say, "Oh, not this again, the whole imaginary friend," and now they've been proven
Yeah,
wrong that he is real.
that's really shitty of Amy as well. Like, I really like Amy, but that's like, oh, you
Yeah.
may kiss the bride. You're at a wedding. You've just got married. You've literally
I
just got
know.
married.
Oh no, that's just stupid.
We get a Queen song here as well.
Yeah. Right, is this dance move called the Drunken Giraffe?
The
or
drunk
something
giraffe.
like
Yeah,
that?
this was a big thing amongst kids.
That's it,
Yeah.
yeah. I once did it at my college prom,
Yeah.
but no one got the reference.
Oh, yeah. I think I must have done it at my prom, and I must have done it at some point. Yeah.
Yeah. And once again, we're about to see River here, but I like how they don't reveal who she is yet, because yeah,
Mm.
I think that would have been too much for this finale.
That's a really nice example of like, oh, we're just gonna leave a little thread hanging. That's an example of stuff I like, where it's like we're gonna leave
Yeah.
that thread hanging, but we've wrapped up everything else. But when like you get to next series and they've left like pretty much the whole mystery hanging, and it's like that's when it's frustrating. But like here, I think it works perfectly.
Definitely, yeah.
Because then that's your hook to come back next time. You know, that's the hook for the audience.
Yeah, because RTD he never left anything dangling. I don't think.
No, he always led everything into the Christmas specials, didn't he? Because we had like we had the Titanic coming through.
Yeah.
We had Donna coming into the TARDIS and stuff. The only one he didn't do that with was Series 4, and he was going to, because there's a deleted scene where the Cybermen turn up in the
but
TARDIS,
he couldn't because he felt it clashed too much with the side
and it
ending.
really,
And yeah,
yeah,
I genuinely thought here that the phone call, he says, there's a mummy on the Orient
Yeah.
Express in space or something, which obviously we get in Series 8, and says, "Don't worry about a thing, Your Majesty, we're on our way." I thought, oh, is this going to be the plot of the Christmas special
Yeah.
then? But we got a Christmas Carol, which is great.
only took him a whole incarnation. Again, we're getting like, Jesus Christ. We haven't even had a snog in the shrubbery yet. He's right there. You are not keeping this.
Please don't do that.
Rory is right there.
Yeah, I so thought this was going to be the Christmas special.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Oh well, we got a Christmas Carol, and that's still the best one in my opinion.
Yeah, Christmas Carol. Christmas Carol is the one that I watch every year without fail. That's the one Christmas special that I watch every single year. And this is a great note to end the series on. It's a really great note to end the series
it's
on.
such a triumphant. Yeah, because it doesn't end with a companion or a doctor leaving for the first time. I just realised.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's the first time where the the main cast hasn't changed at all. Series 1, Eccleston left. Series 2, Billy Piper left. Series 3, Martha. Series 4, Donna. At the end of time, obviously, David Tennant left. But yeah, that was the Pandorica opens and the Big Bang.
And that was Series 5. it's
Yeah, it's still the best series in my opinion. Still the best series finale, and still my favorite story from the new series. I just adore it.
It still holds up. It still holds up, and it's still so great. It's just a perfect. It's a perfect run of adventures. It's so good, and every few years I sort of remember how good this whole series was, and this finale is. I sort of neglect it for a bit, and then I just realised, yeah, no, that was amazing, and we were so lucky to have it. It's brilliant, but
yeah, it's just perfection. But yes, that was all from us.
That's the end of the commentary, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Next week, what will we be doing next week?
Mm-hmm. We will be back with we'll be jumping into the Peter Capaldi era with the Series 10 finale, World Enough in Time, and the Doctor Falls.
Indeed you do. Check back in next week for that. And yeah, in the meantime, see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.